Hi there, that's right, guess who? It's Nick Dutch here yet again. Now, what I'm going to do today is to do what could be roughly regarded as being a little sacrilegious, okay? I'm going to slaughter, or attempt to slaughter, a holy cow of the New Age and occult world. Namely, my favorite classic occult author, Eliphias Levi. That was his pen name. His real name was Alphonse Louis Constant. Because I've been thinking a lot more about his famous work, Transcendental Magic, and I've been thinking about what he was writing with reference to Freemasonry, funnily enough. Not everybody on YouTube has actually gone into great detail in the research and pursuit of what Freemasonry is about. In short, Freemasonry is a kind of a religion stroke cult in which people who are traditionally theistic would go through a series of progressions, stages or grades, so to speak, in which they would enact different forms of story. The purpose of being involved in any of these mystery type religions is to go through growth, development, and change and progress. Freemasonry is driven by moral stories, so to speak, which enable or encourage an individual to think more about life and then to incorporate what they've learned more into their existence. Now, this book was first published in 1896, which is quite late. If we think about the origins of Freemasonry in Britain, which I think that one of the important dates is 1717, it's obviously a long way after the original founding date of Freemasonry in Britain. The thing that I find fascinating about Transcendental Magic is the references to tarot. The allusion which Alphonse Louis Constant makes is that tarot is, of course, much older than just being medieval. There is some assumption in his writings that the 22 major arcana cards contain imagery which possibly even go back to the first temple in Jerusalem. So we're talking about a couple of millennia ago. And the secrets, so to speak, of the temple was then distributed or preserved in a tool that individuals would find appealing in the form of gambling. Hence the game that's called tarot, or French tarot I think is one of the most widely played versions. And Alphonse Louis Constant felt that it was the original Temple of Jerusalem that held the mysteries of spiritual development in tarot, and therefore also in Kaballa throughout the centuries. This is peculiar because Kabbalah is primarily a 13th century Jewish mystic phenomenon. Tarot essentially is medieval. It's post 13th century. So essentially, historically speaking, Alphonse Louis Constant is actually wrong. But what was he trying to do when he was talking about tarot in this way, when he was talking about the original temple in Jerusalem? Now, in America, they've got, I think it's called York Rite Fremasonry, in which the mysteries, the stories that people have to enact throughout all the grades, throughout all of their life, is talking about the building of the Temple of Solomon, the original temple in the Holy Land in Jerusalem. And all of the mysteries and all of the self-developmental stuff is associated with analogies to do with the building of the temple, to which the ultimate goal during a certain section of the rites is to uncover the allegedly missing holy name of God. It strikes me as very similar to what Alphonse Louis Constant was writing about in Transcendental Magic. Taking into account that this book is split into two sections, one is called the Doctrine, one is called the Ritual, he is attempting to lay down the foundation of a form of mystical or religious school of thought, based around Tarot, based around Kabbalah, which has some similarities to the progression of an individual through the grades of Freemasonry. So, although the word magic here is being used, you can see it on the cover there, I asked myself, when Constant was writing this book, when Eliphias Levi was writing this book, was his idea of magic the same as Crowley's idea of magic, namely the art and science of causing change to occur in conformity with the will? Was it my understanding of the word magic, which is to attempt to experimentally try and create supernatural effects as a result of prayer and meditation? Or was his interpretation of the word magic in this particular book the creation of a quasi-Freemasonry style religion? My reflections would say that this book, plus of course Clef de Grand Mystère, I think it was called, that was the French title, Keith the Grand Mysteries, and also his History of Magic, was his attempt to lay down the foundation still further, to point out the meanings of the mystery tradition so that individuals could then start to enact this new religion, taking into account this is all man-made. Alright, now, all made by him, alright, but he also says in the ritual part of this particular book that an individual can in fact create their own ceremonies. So he's also trying to do what people in modern neo-paganism and neo-occultism are doing through making up their own versions of religious ceremonies and rituals for the purposes of experimenting with supernatural things. So he's got a free-form, almost self-expressive attitude towards this particular religious interpretation is about. So yes, he's got some kind of structure there. Yes, he's got this sort of almost Freemasonry-like attitude thrown in. I mean, it would make a lot of sense that the influences which helped to create York Rite Freemasonry and the influences that went into Transcendental Magic, and indeed a lot of Alphonse Louis Constant's ideas, could have come from the same or similar sources. So that is of interest anthropologically and culturally speaking when we look at the way in which these ideas have developed. The fact that Alphonse Louis Constant mentions this more freeform attitude suggests that he is one of the people who's laid down the ability for people to start developing the New Age movement, which is also rather interesting. So although it's much less sort of angel and crystal orientated, it's still very much a pivotal work as far as the evolution of the modern New Age world is concerned. Just a few thoughts for today. Bye for now.